What do I do?
Okay, so welcome. This is Transition Clarity, and we're going to have an authentic conversation with Dan, who is a master shaman, and his company is Circle Healing. No, sorry, Circle Eagle Healing. I can't forget the eagle
You
because
gotta
I
read
love my eagles. They give me so much wisdom. And yeah, like, so I just want to invite everyone and thank you for coming on the show with me today, Dan. And I want to just explore a little bit about you, how you came into, getting the company of Circle Eagle Healing, and
No, no, I got a
from,
story.
and kind of like that transition of like, you know,
Okay.
of who did you become, how did you become you in this position today? Go.
Well, the name first off is circling. You know, like eagles circling.
Oh, I apologize. I'm reading it and I'm even reading it wrong. Circling Eagle Healing.
Yeah.
Yes. So and that's interesting that you corrected me, because that makes it an action. That healing is never done. We're always circling around healing and getting that wisdom. Okay, carry on.
Exactly. Anyway, it was 2007, August 15th, when my dad crossed over,
Mm-hmm.
and I was adopted, but he was my dad as far as everything.
Okay.
Gordon Steinhauer. I never changed my name, but he left me the gift, or yeah, it is a gift of healing to be able to help people. He was a shaman or medicine man, and his
Mm-hmm.
dad was a medicine man, and his dad's dad was a medicine man. And it usually runs for about, like, usually change hands every 30 to 33 years. My dad said you'll get 30 for sure, 33
Okay.
if you're lucky. He got 33. He was lucky. So that's how I come by the gift of being able to help people and heal people, and the rest is history.
And it's okay. So you're from the Cree.
Right
Is
from
that in all of the like, would that be 30 years in the Blackfoot, or 30 years in, or is it like known for the Cree too?
I don't know, like, just the medicine that he had and the
Okay.
ability he had are changed or passed on every 30 to 33 years.
Okay.
Passed on, and like, you do your work, you finish your work in 30 years
Yeah.
from the time he started. Like, he was 50 when he started,
Oh, okay.
and he died at 83.
And
So
so do you find that like the gifts aren't put upon you until you are older, until you,
not necessarily, no. It's like I
okay.
says, when it's time, it's time.
Yeah. And if the person it's time for is 15, then they take it.
No, if it's passed to
Yeah.
them, yes.
Yeah. That's amazing. And what a honor, in a way, to be adopted into,
Right.
right?
That was quite the honor and quite the blessing on all around.
Yeah.
And now being able to help anybody, it's a wonderful feeling when you help someone, and how would you say, they're exceptionally grateful and thankful, and you get a big hug when they're feeling so much better. Sometimes that hug is worth more than all the millions of dollars in the world.
Oh, it's so true,
Um,
especially after the last 2 years.
yeah, right.
Right? It's like 6 feet. Forget that. I want a hug. I'm coming in. Yes, most people don't agree with me, but that's okay. Um, so
Oh,
how does it get passed down? Like, how is it, just like you start getting the gifts, or is it taught to you? Like,
well, you learn a lot of stuff when you're younger, like what plants you need, what they work for, and what herbs, what plants or roots or whatever you have to use. You're taught what to use, where to pick them, how to
yeah,
make your own. And like always, you make your offering before you get anything. Eh?
Yeah.
You go to pick any ordinary medicine. I mean, it's how I mean to me it's ordinary because it's plant medicine,
Yeah.
and I go out and I harvest the plants myself.
Yeah.
And before I go out there in the morning, when I'm going out there and I find the first plant I'm looking for, I kneel down, I thank the Creator
Hmm.
or great grandfather, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
So I call him great grandfather, and I say, "Thank you, grandfather." I says, "Let this medicine be helpful and healing to help people." I make him an offering of tobacco
Okay.
and usually light up a cigarette. Uh, then I can start picking. Like, and when I'm finished picking, it'll come to me as intuition. That's enough.
Right.
Just as an intuition, like I'll be just busy way working away, and all of a sudden it'll say, "Okay, that's enough."
Yeah.
I can see it's Ixta. And that's what I get through it. Okay, time to quit.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting. As before the call started, we were talking about, mosquitoes and the sage, right? And I remember being on the elder's land and um, picking the sage, and it was just like, you don't need to pick the whole field. And I'm like, okay. And so I like turned around, went back, and then kind of waited for everybody, right? Because they were the ones taking the class. I was just along for the ride as the driver. So, and yeah, it was just like honoring that land and just being in the beauty of it all,
Well,
right?
God created the land for everybody,
Yeah.
and He created plants and herbs, healing medicine for
So
everybody. And yet,
yeah, well, let's look at a general plant that would heal what? Like if you're out picking, I don't know, give me an example, please.
let's see. What do you want to pick? Sage.
Okay,
You're picking sage,
right,
and you pick usually two types of sage. Actually, I do teach people how to make a sacred smudge
right,
and how to do journeying and how to use it properly so it's effective and it helps them. It helps not only them but their immediate family. I do
okay.
teach them that they want to learn how to do it, and it's very simple to learn. It takes about usually 2 days to get the whole course, and then when you get finished, you can journey, find your spirit animal. Everybody has a spirit animal.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
the brown bear.
sometimes it's hard to find.
Well, I believe the brown bear was coming to me, but I wasn't understanding why it was coming until I did a journey, and I was just like, oh, you've been with me all along, right? I just didn't realize that he was coming to, he kept on saying it, like, I'm your spirit animal. And I love the fact that your company is eagle because I've always been attuned to eagles. Like, people don't see them very often. And I'm like, I see them all the time. How do you not see them?
I was out yesterday picking the herbs, and there was what first there was one eagle, and
Yeah.
then there were two more eagles come circling around.
Yeah.
And I says, "Oh, okay, we are going the right direction." They
Yeah.
went to the south, so I said, "We got to go to the south and pick plants." And when you talk to them, or when you understand what they're trying to, how would you say, you get the intuition from them
Yeah.
and understand exactly where they're guiding you to, and you go to exactly there, and there's all the herbs you need, all the plants you need.
So, for
Or
example, like, what did you pick yesterday?
well, I picked a bunch of cynic roots.
And what would they be used for?
They're a form of Seneca. It's kind of like an antibiotic.
Okay. Interesting.
They're actually one of the main roots, but they are, how would you say, well studied by the pharmaceutical companies for their healing properties.
Oh, okay.
They have a lot of healing properties in them.
Well, and years ago, like I'm thinking probably 20 years ago, they're saying, like, I was kind of getting this guidance of like, don't worry, like we're going back to the roots, we're going back to the land, we're going back to the indigenous way of doing things. I'm like, okay,
Well, if you check out my website at circlingeaglehall.com,
yeah.
you'll see a lot of the plant and whatnot that we've been picking. Like my wife Teresa's been posting it on a website, and she, how would you say, on Facebook, and she explains a lot of it.
Okay, I'll definitely look more.
Really more explainable by her, because for me, I can do the medicine, do what I'm told to do, and do the healing. It's like the healing I don't do myself. I
Yeah,
ask
it comes through you.
for a person. When
Yeah.
I ask for help for somebody and I do my ceremony, I do use like say holy water, do
Hmm.
a splash, then do a prayer, calling prayer when I'm doing drumming, and I ask for help for whoever's in the ceremony, and then it comes through me, and I put my
Hmm.
hands on a person and I pick up everything and anything that's bothering them, whether it's a headache, whether it's a sore back, a sore wrist, stomach problems, heart
Yeah,
problems, uh, cancers, you name it. It all I pick up everything from people just with my hands.
right.
Comes in my hands. If you can imagine touching a porcupine, with a porcupine, all its quills. Well, that's what it feels like when you put your hands in there. Like all of a sudden, okay, needles are coming out here, they're coming in there, and it's
I, I was gonna say, are you feeling on my porcupine of mosquito bites?
no, I don't do mosquito bites. Sorry.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like that's what I feel like. Like someone asked me the other day, "What do you mean you've gotten eaten alive?" I go, I feel like a pincushion, right? Anyways,
No,
um,
like I says, then I just take and when I get finished, or when everything's being removed from a person,
mhm.
like their toes to whatever, right? Whatever is troubling them, uh, I just dust it off into the flame, blow it off, and it's gone. Clean my hands again so they're perfectly clean, then do a complete healing. And people are, how would you say, not only surprised but amazed
Yeah,
at how they feel after a healing. Like, trouble stuff that was bothering them. I can, what I pick up. I mean, how would you say, I don't go looking for stuff, that is none of my business.
yeah,
I just leave that alone.
yeah.
And if something that comes out from like some kind of trauma that they suffered, like, whether it was a year ago or maybe it was when they were 5 or 7 or 10 or
Hmm.
whatever, that was traumatic, that caused all their troubles throughout their life. You
And
pick
do
that,
you? Sorry, go ahead.
so when you pick that up and you clear that problem, you
Hmm.
clear the trauma from there, then when you do a complete healing for them, it's just, how would you say, surprises me sometimes. It's just that amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I get that because I've had clients that was like you're starting like over here, and then all of a sudden you're like way over in left field, and you're going, okay, I'm following it. I don't know how we got there, but I'm just gonna follow because that's where spirit's taking me, right? And yeah. So do you find that in your work that past lives bleed through? That it could be this time of trauma, but it could be other times that are coming to get cleared off here?
Oh, I can't tell the difference when I'm doing it. I see the trauma, and usually it's what I'm told is, or what I pick up while the
Hmm.
healing is going on. I'll pick up, and I mean, like, I try not to pay attention to it. I'll sit and I'll joke and make different,
Yeah.
tell different jokes in order to, how would you say,
Ease the pain.
no, not ease the pain,
Okay.
in order to set the person at peace so it's easy to heal.
Right.
When people are at peace and the Great Spirit's working through me, it seems like it's so easy to, the healing comes so quickly.
Yeah.
You pick up stuff like, oh, okay, so you fell, or, or whatever happened when you were 5, like maybe you fell down the stairs or you fell out of a tree. I remember one fella there. I says, oh, you were in the back of a wagon. I says, and somehow you bounced off. I says, and you landed right on your butt. That's been causing you back problems all your life. He looks at me and says, how did you know that?
Yeah.
He says, yeah, it was off a wagon.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I see
Well,
that.
and that's the power of
The
being connected to spirit.
great spirit is wonderful.
Yeah.
And like I says, with this healing gift, my dad told me, he says, you'll be able to heal anybody in the world, but he says you can't heal yourself.
And why is that?
He told me, he straight up, he says, you know what? He says, if you could heal yourself, you'd have a birth certificate that's made of stone and engraved with lightning, and you'd be over 2,000 years old. He says, if you
Well,
can't that, if you can't provide that, he says, then you're a darn liar.
well, and I
You
understand that, but I'm just,
never age. If you could heal yourself, you'd be at the prime age all the time. You'd be, let's
oh, okay.
say age was 30, or you decide, okay, I'm in my prime right now at 35. You'd remain 35 for 2,000 years or better. You would never age.
Well, and that's interesting because there was a movie made about that, and she never aged, and so she wouldn't fall in love.
That's the movies, though.
I know that is the movies, but that's kind of what your dad was saying too. Like
He was saying,
right, like you never, like you're always going to be the same age, and people are going to come and go in your life, and you're just going to always be the same age.
yeah, like it's,
Yeah, like it's like you and your wife getting married or whatever, and it's like, well, you're 30, well, and she's 20, and then she's 30 with you, and you're 30, and then she's 40, and you're still 30, and she's like, well, this isn't right. Right. Like, yeah, like that's taken the fountain of youth to a whole new level.
there's a lot of people sit there and say they can heal themselves. And I says, well,
Well, I think to a certain degree we can help ourselves.
health and be healthy, maintain yourself a good health. Yes,
Yeah,
you keep yourself
like,
healthy, but I mean, there's one sure thing in our cycle is we all like the grass in the spring. It grows.
mhm,
Fall time it dies. Next year it
mhm,
grows back again.
yeah,
It's the same kind of a cycle. We get born, we live our 70, 80 years, whatever time is given to us. We
yeah,
live that. When it's time to cross over, we cross over. Like my dad often said, you start a circle here, you go around, you make your circle. When you
mhm.
finish your circle, he says, then you get eternal life. He says, your circle gets broken here. You get into an accident. You got to go back, start again. You commit suicide.
Oh, that's how he thinks of other lives. Okay.
You got to go back. Maybe you'll wait for how long before you'll get another chance. He says, but when you finish your cycle and your cycle is run, you make your complete circle, you do as your, how would you say, live accordingly the way God created for you to live or planned for you
Yep.
to finish your complete cycle, then it's time to cross over. I've helped a lot of, or I've done ceremonies for people in the hospital.
Mhm.
I remember one, he was actually a good friend of mine and cousin. He was in the hospital. I went and seen him. Or no, he wasn't. He was in the old age home,
Mhm.
one of them care homes. I went and
Yep.
seen him Friday. He couldn't move his arms even. He couldn't feed himself. So I sat there and I said, well, we'll see if we can help you a bit, eh? So I done a ceremony for him. He looks up at me. He says, oh, your dad just showed up here. I looked, oh, okay. I mean, I felt his presence, but I didn't think
Yeah.
nothing of it. And he started, I worked and just put my hands on his arms a couple of times and he started moving his arms. Nurse come and she was going to sit down to feed him, or this matron or whatever she, wanted to
Yeah.
help her.
Yeah.
And he was going to come and she was going to feed him. He grabs a plate and she looks at him, you're moving your arms. He says, oh yeah. He says, I could feed myself. So he sat and he ate. We sat there talking after he finished his meal. And they come picked up his dishes and I was getting ready to leave. And like I told him, like, well, I said, so he's surprising that my dad showed up here. But I says, when the time comes, I says, whether it be my dad, your mom, or your dad, whatever, I says, if they show up, I says, take their hand, I says, and we'll see you on the other side. I finished telling him that. He reached out, he grabbed my hand when I was shaking my hand. I says, okay, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come back next week and see him, eh?
Yeah.
I'll stop by next week when I'm coming through. So I reached my hand out there. He grabbed it, both hands. He grabbed my hand, and so sincerely he said, "Till we meet again, my friend." This was Friday evening. Monday morning, he crossed over.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, that was like he knew he was going because he took both my hands, like
Yeah.
by one hand with both of his hands, which he couldn't move before. He says, "Till we meet again, my friend."
Well, and your dad also came to get him.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff
Well,
like
and that's it. That's a beautiful way of helping that journey, helping that transition.
that. So
Um,
I think about people with this COVID scare and whatnot. I mean, you're running around, you're taking how many vaccines? And I look at it like, well, I mean, is this COVID vaccine going to help you
no,
live forever?
no,
Or are there going to be side effects? And it's like we all die sometimes. It's kind of like the grass. We all have to come. We all go at our own time.
yeah,
And I see so many side effects from people suffering with COVID vaccine. I mean, I've asked for help. Not I've helped. I've asked for help for people with COVID, and next day they've got no more symptoms of COVID. And
yeah,
all I do, ceremony out. I go to a sacred spot out here. Go and I do a sacred ceremony for them. In particular, there was one lady in Prince Albert. She was about 35, 10 o'clock at night. Her mom phones and she's crying. She says, they told us she isn't going to make the morning.
oh wow,
2 o'clock next afternoon, she was released with no more COVID, no signs, no symptoms.
that's amazing.
I met her a month later, and her mom says, I want to introduce you to him. So she come introduced me to him. Her mom says, here's the man that saved your life. I says, whoa,
Yeah,
I asked for help. The guy that saved your life, I says, you give him thanks, you respect him.
yeah,
The Great Spirit, I says, is all powerful. I can't do nothing. I'm like you or anybody else. All I do is ask for help and it comes through me.
yeah.
It's a unique gift and it works.
Well, and in my perspective, I had to really just get right with myself and say, that's your choice, that's your journey.
Mhm.
I'm not on the same journey. Like we'll both respect our sacred path of what we're supposed to do, but it doesn't make it easier.
Oh, it doesn't. I mean, it's all, how would you say, we're all on this earth for just a short little while.
Yeah,
And what we do to help people is all that matters, eh?
yeah, yeah.
And like, you know,
And to respect their choices, even if they're not the choices we would make.
that's right. Everybody makes choices.
Yeah. And and I'm on the other side, just okay, creator, keep them safe.
Exactly. Keep them safe and
Yeah,
healthy. That's what I ask for. Most of the time is to be healthy and
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
And it's like I often tell people, you know, it's a gift that was passed down to me.
Hmm.
And like my dad had often told, or had told me before he passed the gift to me, he says, you have a choice to make here.
Yeah.
I says, what do you mean? He says, well, he says, when you have this gift, he says, you'll be very powerful and you can charge thousands and thousands of dollars for it. He says, you'll be a multimillionaire before you know it. He says, but, I says, there's always a but, eh?
Yeah.
He says, but before long, he says, you wouldn't be able to help nobody.
Because you went for the money rather than the healing.
He says, or you can be happy, whatever people can afford. They'll make you an offering before they heal you, before you do any ceremony for them. He says, they'll make you an offering, whatever they can afford. He says, you'll be happy with it. He says, and you will find over time that you'll be one of the most powerful men walking this planet. I says, what do you mean powerful? He says, yeah, he says, as far as medicine men go, he says, you'll be one of the most powerful ones walking this planet. And I looked at him and I said, boy, that does sound like a good way to go. He just smiled. I still remember his smile. It was so heartwarming. And he had one of the most heartwarming smiles you ever seen, eh?
Well, and that, I think that's the energy I picked up with you with our last conversation and getting to know each other, was that it's just like, it's not me, right? I'm gonna just have some giggles through life, and it's all good, and come to me, don't come to me. I'm on my journey,
That's
right?
right.
And if you're not questioning why, and you're just, I'm having fun until I transition, you know. And I like how he said that, like, about charging so much, because I think um that's where the ego pops in, right? Because if you're truly listening to the guides, and you're, and the creator, and saying, I trust you on this path, I'll always have abundance.
Well, let's put it this way. It don't matter how many millions of dollars you have, how much land, how many cattle,
Hmm.
how many horses, how many vehicles, how many condos you have.
Yeah.
It's like this. We all come into this world with nothing.
And
We
we all
all
leave with nothing.
go, no, we don't leave with any possessions. We do
Oh
leave,
yeah, yeah, okay,
provided, and the goodness we've helped, we
yeah.
take with us to the next
Well,
life.
I was going to spin it a different way. Like, all we have is how full our heart is for what we have, you know, been blessed to
Mhm.
share and been shared with, and reciprocal, like, that connection, that, why we're here, like the earthly connection, the earthly growth.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if we can take that and share that even more, you know, um, yeah. And I mean, I think about your cousin who was like, did he know he was going on Monday? Maybe, maybe not.
Well, he says,
But seeing your dad, to me, is a huge sign saying, see you later.
yeah,
We'll catch you somewhere else. Right? Because, I mean, like, when I've helped people transition, it's like, oh, I see. And I go, awesome. Go dancing. Because that was what you used to tell me you used to do. So go find the music and go dance, right? Or,
speaking of dancing, I remember this one lady. She was probably 65, 66. She come to see me and she was coming in. I was doing a big ceremony. There was a bunch of people there.
mhm,
And it was supposed to be 4 medicine men coming there to do healing. And this one little lady, she was probably, like I says, bent over, arthritis. She could hardly walk, and her back was really sore.
mhm.
And she come in with 2 canes just hobbling along. And she looks up at me and she says, please help me. So I says, okay.
Oh, it just tugged at me.
Yeah. She went, she says, okay. I says, I done a smudge ceremony. She was all by her, like all in the room there. I done a smudge ceremony for her. Then I done a drumming ceremony and I started doing the healing. And I picked up, oh my God, I says, you were one heck of a good jigger when you were young, eh?
Oh, wow.
And I says, ah, I'll bet you, she says, I says, I'll bet you before long, I said, you'll feel like jigging again. And in Greece, she says, oh, I'm too old for that. That means, boy, I'm too, no, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm too old, eh?
Yeah.
And I just kind of laughed at her, never thought nothing of it. Got all finished. And she got up and I said, oh, so how you feeling now? She got up and she's walking around, spry as all get out. She said, oh, I feel great. She said, I haven't felt this good in a long time.
Yeah.
I remember
Let's go jigging.
anyway, he left and I was working on another couple there. And all of a sudden, I hear all this hollering and cheering while I'm working, like outside, eh?
Mhm.
And never thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, well, maybe they're calling, hours early in the morning. I thought, well, maybe the rest of the medicine men are showing up now, eh? So, to make a long story short, I finished what I was doing healing, and the person that was bringing other people in, I says, "Oh, what happened out there? What was going on? Somebody else showed up." She says, "No, you remember that little lady you worked on this morning?" Yeah, she was no more than 90 pounds soaking wet. I says, but she says, "Yeah, she cleared the table off and she was jigging for about 5 minutes."
Oh
I said,
my
"Oh, did?"
gosh.
She says, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, well, she left her canes," I says, "over there beside the couch." Guess she don't need them anymore. So that was kind of amazing.
No kidding.
A lot of stuff that after a while, like after a while, there's not too much that surprises me. Eh?
Yeah.
See it
Yeah.
all. It's trust in the creator, and he looks after everything.
Right.
Just amazing the kind of work that he can do through me. Like when I ask him to use my body or use me as his servant
Yeah.
and work through me, and he just works through me, and it's just amazing for the amount of stuff that I see.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean, and you have that tender heart that is welcoming. So even if people are kind of going, I don't know, do I trust this person? Like, what's he gonna do? Whatever.
Uh,
Um,
just
and I don't know if it's like I don't believe it's just me that would be picking this up, but yeah, like it just oozes like this tender heart of I'm just here to help. Like my
oh,
body is the vessel, and like the person is in front of you because they have been guided to come to you.
usually, yeah.
Yeah, like
There's people that don't believe, and by the time they get finished healing,
mhm. Do you have to do in person or can you do distance?
I can do distance healing. I mean, I've done distance healing for 1,200 people. No, yeah, 1,200 people at one time.
Oh wow.
That was in a distant healing. I had to go to this one special sacred place that I was at. That's that. It took me a couple hours to drive there. Now it'll probably take me 5 hours to drive there.
Oh no. Because of all the traffic or just
Oh, just I moved further away.
oh, okay.
I'm in Calgary now, so I used to be up in Edmonton. It was only a couple hours. Now I'm up.
Oh. So do you find there's more sacred spaces up north?
It's like this. There is spaces throughout the world that are sacred. You have to find them, and the energies that seem how should I say? I seem to get pulled to the place where I have to go. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yep. Yep.
I'll be calm, and all of a sudden I say, "Oh, this is a good place right here. Feels good."
Hmm.
Just the sacred feeling of it, and then we just bless the place. And works fine.
Yeah, I find that places in the mountains and
In the
and
mountain, I said there are certain places there that are really nice. Eh? I know I was up at Medicine Lodge last week, and that was nice. Eh? Or no, Medicine Lake. Pardon me.
Medicine Lake.
That was nice.
Yeah. That's an interesting lake.
Really a lot of energy out there. Eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's really interesting because I remember I was up there one time, the guy's walking across the lake with his dog, and 2 days later, it's 30 feet deep.
Yeah,
And I'm like, what? And they said, we have no idea.
just the way it is.
Well, it goes up and down, and yet the canyon is funneled from that lake, and they have no idea when the water's going to be there and when it's not. Yeah,
That's
I
it.
love it up there. I wish I could have like not been with a tour bus of 50 people. But I mean, yeah, but even going out on Spirit Lake, right, on the boat, like, yeah, I don't know, like, and it was funny because I was out there as the tour operator, and all the clients are looking at me, and I'm like, why are y'all looking at me? Because you're shifting, and I'm like, okay. I just because it was just like so much like home, you know?
Yeah, it's a nice, quiet, peaceful place out there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like finding medicine. It's nice to find medicine where there's nobody around. And if you go onto the website, you'll see I'm talking about. Like there's nobody around when I was out picking rat root. Eh?
yeah,
That's quite the little video. That was hard work.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's the magic of it. And I think I was like, when you called, I was just like, yay, because I was like, yeah, just I wanted more of your energy.
Oh well,
Selfishly.
it's funny. People always look for energy, and yet it's right beside them. All they have to do, and what I see lots of times is all they have to do is a quick little journey while you're doing the ceremony. Pick up your spirit animal, and then when he's properly, how would you say, installed, the spirit animal is installed into your heart.
Mhm.
When it's properly installed into your heart, you can just close your eyes in the morning, call on him. I need energy for this today, and you'll be surprised the energy you have. If you depend on your energy, like me, if I depend on my energy,
Yeah.
I will go all the time. I
That's
call them
it.
spirit animals, and I tell them, okay, I need you to give me energy now, or I need energy. I need guidance. I need protection. Whatever you need. Once it's properly installed into your heart,
So how do you know if it's properly installed? Just the reason I'm asking is because just before this call, I was like, okay, like shift in. Do you got a podcast? Like, let's shift in. And all of a sudden, it's just like I just felt the bear, and like, like give me this hug, and I'm like, okay, you're here. Thank you. And here you're going, well, just call it in. I'm like, well, I guess I kind of did. Like, I guess that's
yeah, it's easy. Once you learn how to do it, and like I says, I teach people all the time how to do this and how to make the best of it, how to make the most out of life, and how to enjoy life using their spirit animals. And when you learn how to use them, you can use them for your benefit. And if you always use them in the right way, they're there for as long as you live. They're even going to be there to help you cross over. But you
okay.
have to.
Could you give an example, whether it's my bear or whatever your spirit animal, like an example, so it could help people that are listening?
What do you mean, example? Like my grizzly or my polar bear?
Yeah, like how, so how would, like, obviously you're using them all the time. So how would you use an example to say, that you call them in and they've helped you in a situation?
A grizzly bear is always there watching over me. He's like a guard. My polar bear is a comical bear. He's always joking, always funny. And that's where I think when I'm doing healing, I think he comes into effect and basically, how would you say, makes everything comical because
Yeah.
he's. And then I got an eagle that watches over me all the time, and a falcon and a hawk,
Oh,
and I got
wow.
me close to home when I'm supposed to be at home. And a little fox. I get a whole zoo.
I was gonna say, maybe I gotta start digging more than just my bear, even though I love my bear.
Well, you have one dominant one.
Yeah. Well, but
Everybody.
I remember I was working, and we were doing outside work, and I'd be like, oh, hello, eagle, right? I'm not thinking anything of it, right? And then another day it'd be like there'd be two hawks, and I'd be like, oh, you guys are joining today. And then the crew started going, oh, here's her eagle again. I said, what? I said, why are you saying it like that? We're being blessed by the eagle. Don't be sarcastic. Right?
Yeah, like every spirit animal, when it's installed in a sacred way, and by mean sacred way, like I use a sacred smudge, I do a short little ceremony
Okay.
and then install them into your heart, put them in there, and he's there to help you all the time. It's a spirit animal. It's another extra spirit that, how would you say, you have that is there to help you.
Well, and I find, since I realized that the brown bear is, I would say, one of, I haven't gone searching as much as you have, that how much it plays out in other aspects of my life. Like, it's like, like the characteristics of that bear, like the slow to rise, the don't move me fast. Like, I can move fast, but I don't want to unless I have to exert the energy. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much me. Right? Like, you know, you're, taking food in slowly, like they never gobble it, right? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much me. And so I just thought it was fascinating, like, that here, this, like, as a human in this human body, that I was mirroring my spirit animal my whole life and didn't realize it,
That's right.
you know?
A lot of people have that and they don't realize it. Eh?
Yeah.
Yet, like I says, it's funny how there's so many animals in the world,
Hmm.
so many people, and I've been doing healings for where I've been asking for help for people and working through like with my hands and feeling everything and whatnot.
Hmm.
And to date yet, I've never yet found two people the same, even twins.
Oh, I know.
So I think about this and I sit down. Lots of times I'll sit and I'll be sitting thinking about thinking, so and so has this problem with them or whatever, eh?
Hmm.
And I know I could help them, but I can't go around telling them, here, come see me, I can help you, because it's not designed that way. People want help, they come.
They
It's kind of
find
like,
you.
if you wanna go see a movie, you pick the movie you want to go to. You
Yeah.
want to go to the lawyer, you pick the lawyer you want to go to.
Yeah.
You don't have lawyers don't go saying, "Hey, I'll represent you regardless." Eh,
Yeah. They're called animal ambulance chasers,
yeah,
and you stay far away from them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like I says, with this year, people want help. I mean, sure, I can tell people, but I can't go and say, "Hey, I can heal that for you," or "I can do this for you." I can't do it. Eh?
Yeah.
Ask for help for them, but
Well, because that's when the ego gets involved. And when the ego's involved, like the channel's gone. Like it's like, oh, you think you can do it, you mortal soul? No.
going to the hospital sometimes, it's just, how would you say it? The energies in there.
Oh, brutal.
I mean, how would you say, sicknesses you can see, you can feel all the pain people are going through,
Hmm.
and only the one that called you and asked you to come there is the person you can help.
Yeah.
Uh, it's sad that people don't ask. They wait till their dying day, and then they're running all over looking like, you get people with cancer, stage 4, and they're looking like, okay, stage 4 cancer. Can you help me? Well, I can help you. I can do what I can for you. I can ask for help. I can do a ceremony,
Yeah.
but it's up to the creator to help you.
Well, and
Once you've gone through chemo and radiation, that's all self-inflicted. The cancer itself
oh, interesting.
was from a traumatic experience throughout your life.
Yeah.
When you do that, you get rid of the cancer, you do a healing for them, and it's done. But the radiation and chemo, that's self-inflicted. That's something that, I don't know, the creator doesn't seem to be able to do anything with that.
Well,
He
because
works
it's a poison that they don't understand.
something that he doesn't seem, or it doesn't seem to pick up. Like in my hands, I can pick up some real, painful stuff at times, eh?
Yeah.
And uh, the self-inflicted stuff. Then the time, the best that I've seen is when people haven't had no radiation and they come to me, or no chemo, and they come and I ask for help for them,
Hmm.
and I might work on them once or twice and never hear from them for years. Eh?
Hmm.
I remember this one lady in particular down in California. She called me. The doctors give her a month to live. Eh? Said, make your arrangements. She had stomach cancer. They opened her up and they said, make your arrangements. There's nothing more we can do. So she called me. I went down there, done a ceremony for her.
Hmm.
And she had, I don't know, whatever she was supposed to do there. But anyway, I says, well, I've done a ceremony for you here today. I says, if it still bothers you, I says, you know where I am. You come see me again. So I picked up what I could. Like, I think most of it's out. I says, that's what I picked up anyway. But I said, if it still bothers you come see me.
But okay, so
Later, she come and see me. I was in Edmonton. She was totally changed. I didn't recognize her. And done another healing for her. And I said, oh, I probably wouldn't see you again. I said, because I just don't pick up. I'm going to see you again. I said, but you call me, let me know in about 10 years' time how you're doing. Oh my God, one day I get a call from her. She says, I've been great. I haven't had cancer. I've been completely cancer free. And then I surprised the doctors because it's only been long, 30 days. This is like 8 or 9 years later.
Yeah.
So it's different, eh?
So why do you think people wait to their last minute to call?
I think then they're finally realizing that there's somebody up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And lots of times it's for forgiveness is what they come for.
Yeah.
After they've tried everything else, how would you say, poisoned their body to the point where there's no help.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is what I find lots of times. Not all the time, but sometimes.
That's interesting. That's
Sometimes.
kind of like in the Catholic religion of having the priest.
Don't start with
Huh?
Don't start.
No,
No,
but I'm just saying, make sure that all sins are forgiven before you cross over. And I'm like, oi,
no, don't go there.
yeah.
It's like I told him, I've been going to the pilgrimage as long as I can remember. We have a pilgrimage in July on the third week of July every year. My dad, my mom always went to it. Eh?
Mm-hmm. And
And it's
what's the pilgrimage? Sorry, I don't know.
at the same time, just west of Edmonton, northwest of Edmonton.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, been going there for as long as I can remember, third week in July.
Okay.
So we go out there, we do our ceremony, we do our prayers, our offerings, and it's usually a fair offering. We do that on the first day we're there, usually a Sunday, and then ask for the water to be blessed and to be holy.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do this ceremony, we ask for this. Then the water has power, and it has the power to heal people.
Right.
I've seen this time and time and time again. It started when they first decided that this COVID come into being here. I went out to Lake St. Anne myself in the middle of February, wait a minute. I got back from Cuba. Yeah, I was there doing healings too.
Mm-hmm.
I got back from Cuba, and all of a sudden they had this COVID thing. So it was February, I believe.
Yeah, the full outbreak was March, but yeah.
March, whatever. Anyway, this whole thing came out. So I went out there and I done a ceremony. And I was really troubled and I wanted to find out what's with this COVID, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Like what how do I get rid of it? What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid of what something you don't know you're always afraid of, eh?
Yeah.
Pretty afraid of it. And I went and done the ceremony. Anyway, my dad come to me and he says, "You have nothing to fear but fear itself." I looked at it and I thought about this for a while. And I looked, yeah, I trust in the good fellow up there. I got nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Well, that whole changed my whole outlook right there and then.
Yeah.
So that year I went. This was in March. In July, I went to the Lake St. Anne, done my ceremony, done the prayers we usually do, asked for the water to be healing.
Mm-hmm.
Went out there, and there was a lot of people, or quite a few people showed up. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I went out there and I was talking to a lot of different people, and everything was canceled. Eh?
Yeah.
Completely canceled. But I still had the ceremony. I still went out. I picked my holy water up on a Wednesday morning. I was woken up early in the morning. Go get your holy water. So I went and got it. Went and picked up my holy water and took it back to my vehicle. Put it in there, and I come back. Well, I'm going to go and talk to Father Les for a while, eh?
Yeah.
Because I seen him coming out there, so I thought I'll go talk to him for a while. Because I and Father Les, we get along like peas in a pod, eh? Real great guy. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
I says, it's funny. I says, that lake has so much healing energy, and yet there's what, maybe 400 or 500 people here that actually believe in the Creator that He can help them. This is funny, but I says the funniest part is, I says, how come you guys shut this down at this time? So it was Archbishop. I says, where's his faith? Where's
Oh, I
his,
know. I know.
his
And
trust?
I know a lot of people saying I can't follow the Pope anymore. Like, whoa.
Well, that's another story. Don't go there with that.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's just like I think this was a rude awakening to for people to really look into their heart and what do you truly believe.
Well,
and
I
and it's the great awakening to who we truly are. And if it's coming to you for a spiritual journey, if like, or coming to me for what I do or whatever, it's like it's our time of awakening. We're not just here in a physical form. We are here to move us forward.
the Catholic Church, don't get me wrong, has some really nice ministers there that are real helpful. Father Lesson, one in particular, is a
Yeah.
one. I
Yeah.
mean, give the shirt off his back if you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
He'll be right there to help. Wonderful. He's a
Well,
wonderful.
and yeah, I mean, and this isn't about religion.
No, it's not about religion. It's about
This
being.
is this is about the kindness of a person's heart, right? Like, um,
Surprising.
and and giving that offering of, someone is in front of me needing help. They've come
Yeah.
asking whoever, and you don't even have to be anyone that has any gifts. Just being that person who hears that I need help. How can I help? Oh, you need a glass of water? You need a hug? What, like, it doesn't matter. Oh, you need a healing gift? Great.
To help people, and like I mean, he's one of the. He's a good friend of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
I got total respect for him because he does sincerely believe in the Creator,
Mm-hmm.
whatever way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you say? Even last year, so it's the same thing. Still went out there, still done our ceremony on the third week of July.
Yeah.
This year they moved it up to the fourth week, or
Why?
they moved it because the Pope is coming.
Oh,
So you know what? I says I went out and I was talking to Father Les, and I says, I said this is something different. I said they might have moved it that way, but I says I'd still love to come here on the third week of July and still do my regular ceremony,
yeah.
regular offering like I do.
Yeah.
He says, will that be a problem? He says, no problem at all. He says, you can come anytime. You're always welcome here. Truly kind-hearted man.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
I'll be going on the third week. That's actually Sunday. I'll be going there for
Yeah.
Lake St. And I'll be doing the ceremony and offering and asking so the lake be blessed. And it will be.
So do you
And
only do that ceremony on Lake Anne?
no,
No.
every place.
Okay.
But
Well, I
it
just
just
want all the water to be blessed.
that lake had a unique power.
Okay.
When you done your ceremony, it turned holy. Some people say it's holy all year long, but the water itself feels different, and it's usually after you do your ceremony. There's always a thunderstorm,
Oh, interesting.
whether it be a day, 2 days, whatever. There's always a thunderstorm, and what happens is the Creator strikes the lake, and when He strikes the lake, where the sacred rock is,
Yeah.
the ground will shake. You can feel it when you can't.
Oh,
It might be in the middle of the night, might be 3, 4 in the morning, but you'll feel it. And
Interesting.
then a few days later, you go, like I'll be woken up, okay, go get your holy water. So I get up in the morning, go get my holy water, and give them thanks, make an offering before I pick anything up, as always, eh?
Yeah.
Tobacco, the most important thing. And when you
Why
finish
is it always tobacco? Sorry to cut you off.
tobacco or whatever you can afford. If you haven't got tobacco and you say, okay, well, here's $20 or $100, go buy yourself a carton of cigarettes, whatever you want, eh? Or whatever
Mhm.
people can afford. I never set a price for healing, as I often said.
Yeah, no, but I was always I always wondered about tobacco, but it's just because
With me, tobacco is a offering that we use when we're picking medicine up. It's
okay.
an offering we use when in our healing.
Hmm.
There's always an offering. After I'm finished doing the healing, I can light up. I'll go out. I'll light up a cigarette as an offering for the Creator, the
Hmm.
Great Spirit. Light up a cigarette for Him. The cigarette will burn right to the end if I'm finished. If it goes out before then, if there's something else, all I gotta do is ask Him what else, and it'll come to me like, okay, this has to be done yet.
Interesting. So it's not like you're smoking the cigarette, you're burning it as an offering, and then
And
you'll know if the session's over.
it'll come to me like, okay, you're done. It's all over. The guy's gonna be okay, or the lady's gonna be okay. Whatever, the child's gonna be okay. Whatever it is, it just comes to me.
This is fascinating.
It's a
Like this
unique.
is the fastest hour conversation I've ever had. um, but yeah, so I mean, I know we could talk forever, but I think, I should wrap it up here. So once again, it's Dan circling Eagle Healing. And yeah, so that's his website. So circlingeaglehealing.com if you want to get a hold of him, ask him more questions, look at his website. Once again, this is Adele from Transition Clarity, and this is an authentic conversation.
Nice talking to you, and look forward to meeting you.